Tonight, on the final Atomic Power Racing Hour of 2014, we head to the Fulton Speedway, a track known for multiple grooves and plenty of tight racing. The best of the Go Nuclear late models will have to take on a tough contingent of Fulton regulars as the track goes through some major characteristic changes during the night, with the fast line likely to move between the bottom and the top grooves over the course of the 50-lap event. The key is just to be careful when changing lanes. The hustle at the high banks next on the Atomic Power Racing Hour. Hello and welcome to the Atomic Power Racing Hour featuring the Go Nuclear late models. We are here just north of Syracuse today at the Fulton Speedway. It's a high bank, 3/8 mile clay oval with some of the best racing around. I'm Doug Elkins. Rich Fleck joins me up here. A lot of cars here today, not just in our division, but across the board.
Holy race cars, right? I think the number is 247 in the pits. 33 of them are late models, and that's a big jump up from years past. They've always run late models on this Friday night of Outlaw Weekend, but the Go Nuclear Late Model Series sanctioning the racing here tonight. A lot of drivers from Canada invading in, along with drivers from other parts of New York. Should be one wild show. 50 laps for the feature tonight.
Of course, this track is known for a lot of grooves. Doesn't matter where you start here, Rich. If you're on the track, you can win.
3, 4, 5, even 6 grooves can be utilized. That's why people love the high banks of the Fulton Speedway.
Of course, there is weather moving in, so there is some concern. Our Paul Small, and of course it's Outlaw Weekend, so he's Cowboy Paul Small, has been watching the racetrack. Let's check in with Paul.
Guys, the track here tonight at Fulton is taking its characteristic conditional shape. As we get ready to roll the B-main out onto the racing surface, the bottom lane of the racetrack is still pretty good. Still a little bit of moisture. Middle, a little bit of a no man's land. And up here on the outside lane, even though the track surface is a little bit hard, there's plenty of bite underneath, so there's still moisture that's coming up through the surface. This could completely change if the weather comes in, as is possible. Then the track becomes completely green, and it's basically start over from square one. The groove will start up here where we are, and as the feature event goes on, you'll see drivers starting to move down instead of up.
As you can tell from the way we've been talking so far, very racy racetrack. Like we said, doesn't matter where you start at this deal.
Well, as we said earlier, the track's a little bit different than it would be in the summer. A lot of guys are weekly to this place. They love running this facility, but there's a number that have traveled in from 3, 4, even 5 hours away to be here for the reason of racing this facility.
And, you know, let's not listen to us tell you about it. Let's touch on some of the guys and see what they think about the raciness here at Fulton Speedway.
It's just a nice shaped track, banked. I mean, this is one of the best places track-wise to actually race, you know.
I love this track. It's like kind of like a saddle. It's 2 horseshoes or half pipes on each end, and it's really eventful and fast, racy track.
There's walls all the way around this place, but the banks are high enough. If you get in trouble, you can get up out of the groove, and down on the infield it's good. It's a pretty fast racetrack.
It's big, it's spacious, it's fast, so and it's probably one of the best facilities as far as viewing goes for the fans.
It's fun, it's fast, it's wide. You can make it 4 wide if you have to. I think we've even gone 5 wide once or twice here. It's just a fun place to race.
Still some racing to do here. The field not set. Qualifying heats were earlier. These are the guys that did not qualify, Rich. This is the B-main.
And Adam Turner and Alan Chapman share the front row. But the guys in row number 2, Greg Bellier, A.J. Kingsley, you would not expect to see those drivers in a B-main for the Go Nuclear Series drivers that have run well in the past with the series. Kingsley, a guy with 5 wins this year here at Fulton and finished second in points. So look for him starting in the 4th position to move up there. You see Jason Aquino's 33 right out the back as the field goes green for the B-main.
And Aquino, a guy who ran Sportsman all year long here, just switched to the late model division. As far as I know, this is his first actual race with the class.
That's what we've heard as the battle on for the race lead. Turner hangs on to the top spot. Here we go for second. On the outside is A.J. Kingsley. Down on the bottom is that veteran Greg Bellier.
And that bottom in turn 4 could be the place to be. Remember, Kingsley races here weekly. He just showed you a little bit of that local knowledge. He went through the middle. He's our new leader.
Slides through. Bellier will do the same in a second. And Adam Turner still trying to figure this track out. Remember, Turner within a bumper of winning a tour event at Cornwall earlier this season.
That was a glimpse at 5th place we saw right there. Jason Aquino, he's in that number 33 right there. The 97, that's David McDonald. And of course, those are key positions right here. They've got to get up if they want to make it into this Go Nuclear late model feature here tonight.
Absolutely. They're battling for 4th and 5th of the 33 and the 97. That's the blue 97. And just behind that, you've got the battle for the 6th and final transfer spot. And McDonald gets out of shape a little bit. McDonald, a driver that won a race at the Can-Am Speedway earlier this year, but has lent that ride over to another driver. The other 97 on the racetrack, that's the only driver from Southern Ontario tonight, Luke Carlton. And almost coming around is Alan Chapman, the local driver, and he will stop, and the yellow flag will fly.
So the yellow is out here, and we're going to do more of this B-Main when we come back. You're watching the Go Nuclear Late Models.
If you care about quality, service, or pride of ownership, it's time to call Tenachi AV. Tenachi AV provides music and theater systems for the home that defy expectations and are a clear cut above those found in the mass market stores, including handcrafted opera loudspeakers, Unison research amplification from Italy, Integra home theater, and many more. Discover the difference at tenachiav.com or visit us on Facebook.
If you're enjoying these late models on the Atomic Power Racing Hour, you need to be there in person. The Go Nuclear Late Model Challenge Series is coming to a track near you with all the dirt-flinging, side-by-side racing, and bumper-to-bumper action that you can handle. Come see the cars and stars of the Atomic Power Racing Hour as they battle for bragging rights. It's not too early to start settling your race plans for next year as the 2015 season gets underway with a two-day event at Mohawk International Raceway, April 25th and 26th. Don't miss it.
Electricity. You flip a switch, the lights go on. But will we have safe supplies of electricity to meet our fast-growing needs? Today, nuclear energy provides 1/5 of America's electricity. Tomorrow, it could supply even more. And nuclear power plants don't emit greenhouse gases, so they preserve our environment. We need to reduce our dependence on foreign energy. And we also need clean air. With nuclear energy, we can do both. Nuclear, putting clean air energy to work.
The Go Nuclear Late Model Challenge Series is presented by Excel Tower Service, Atomic Chassis, Humber Nurseries, Gandrud Chevrolet, Grills and Ovens, Insinger Performance, Kaiser Wheels, Schaefer's Oil, BA Custom Headers, Finish Line Web Design, and Tenace Diversified.
Welcome back here to the Fulton Speedway, the Atomic Power Racing Hour. We are just a few laps into the B-Main for the Go Nuclear Late Models. Doug Elkins, Rich Bleck in the booth, and the green is back out.
4 laps left to go. A.J. Kingsley jumped into the lead on lap number 2. He leads with Greg Bellier in second. As we said, we kind of figured those drivers would be up in front, and Kingsley's starting to pull away.
And even though Bellier doesn't run here as a regular, he actually won the first late model race at this track many, many years ago. So you don't think of him and Fulton Speedway going together, but he does. He now runs in second.
Yeah, he says he doesn't like this racetrack, but he does have that moniker to hold on to. How about Jason Aquino, first time in a late model, up to third. Now, the car he's driving was previously driven by the track champion at Fulton this year, Tim Sears Jr.
Yeah, they just picked that car up, got it ready for this event. Whether Aquino stays with that or goes back to Sportsman next year, we don't know. But right now, he's running very well out there in third place.
Runs in third ahead of Adam Turner, as we spoke about. Turner, a regular with the series. And then a couple of guys just trying to hang on for a position. And David McDonald and Luke Carlton. Right now, they've got the final 2 transfer spots.
A.J. Kingsley started this division coming in from Sportsman. He's raced pretty much everything he's ever raced. Has been right here at the Fulton Speedway, and he is out front running the top here with 1 to go.
Still looking for his first career tour win, but as we said earlier, 5 wins this season here at the Fulton Speedway, and he's showing why. Up on the top of the racetrack, he'll score the win, and onto the feature he goes.
And look at the margin there. Convincing fashion, pulling away by Bellier by more than 2 seconds. Top 6 get in. There's your 6th driver right there, so we are all set. Now let's take a look at what happened earlier today, because this is the B, but we ran qualifying heat races earlier. Let's take a look at what happened in those qualifiers. Here's heat race number 1 with the Knowles boys starting on the front row.
We got Jason on the inside in the 4, Pork Chop in the 7 on the outside. That's Brian Knowles, but it would be Jason jumping into the race lead. How about the battles back in the pack, though? Kevin Cook in that blue 99 just picked up that car a couple of days ago, first time in it. he looked pretty comfortable on the outside, getting up to 4th.
And you can see what we meant about this wide racetrack. They were 4 wide the first time they went down into 1 and 2. Shane Tenace, that's him on the bottom. He's trying to get second spot. And watch that number 99 there. That's Kevin Cook, who, like we said, just got that car and is new to the division.
And it would be Tenace getting up into second. The top 3 would make the redraw. And the 7 of Brian Knowles would slip up the racetrack a little bit. Cook would go down to the inside, get himself into one of those all-critical redraw positions for a top 9 starting spot in the feature.
Yeah, that's right. Top 6 gets you up, but top 3 is where you really want to be. So now the racing back behind them is going to get pretty serious.
And Knowles would go into 3rd once again as Tenace slipped up, and then Tenace got back into the inside of Knowles. They would all get collected, and so too for Steve Coit in the 12.
And you can see Tenace, they're working in the pit area. Not able to make it back out for the B main. Another guy who had work to do was that last car we saw in Steve Coit.
And he would have an upper control arm issue. He'd be done for the night. We didn't see either of them make a lap in the B main.
So back to the action now, and watch what happens here a little further back for position number 4.
Yeah, the 160 of Johnny Hill would get stuck a little bit on the inside. Canadian Kyle Sopaz got around him. So too the 77 of Kaylee Weiss. She would hold on to the 6th and final transfer spot from Adam Turner.
That's how Adam Turner ended up in the consolation race. Last lap now, and no problems for the former 360 late model champion from Edison, New York, as Jason Knowles leads this one from start to finish. He picks up the victory.
Yeah, we had a mid-race caution there, and then the first half of it, I was running probably a couple car lengths up from the bottom, and then the last I ran in the very bottom. I kind of felt the same.
Heat race number 2, and Dale Caswell, a Fulton Speedway regular, would grab the lead here early.
From his uncle, Harry Halliday, who would go up the racetrack a little bit. Watch a little bit for the yellow car. Former winner this season, the 29 of Phil Potts. He gets sideways, get into Alan Chapman in the 64, but the field would stay under green flag conditions. Kind of a tough break for Potts, who came into the night just 3rd in the series standings.
And you can see why Sopaz did not bring out the yellow and kept going. There were still 4 cars back behind him. Out front now, you see Caswell's pulling away, but here a battle starts to develop for second place.
Alan Fink, one of only 3 drivers that has won a race this season at the Fulton Speedway, goes down to the inside of Halliday, and Justin Waters closing in on the 14, one of 3 drivers from the southern tier that is competing tonight.
You see Halliday way up there on the high side. Waters is the guy that needed to get going here, though, because 4th place, like we said, that gets you in, but does not give you a shot at one of the upfront starting spots.
And I'm not sure how much Waters has actually run here at the Fulton Speedway, but did a nice job here in heat race number 2. Got to the inside of Halliday and got his number 14 into one of those redraw positions.
And you can see Halliday's car. He was just pushing from the middle of the corner out. Back and forth, but not giving up just yet.
No, and Halliday had some different grooves to utilize, but after a lap 5 caution for debris on the lap 6 restart, you would see some other drivers try to battle with Halliday back for 4th. It would be Dale Caswell holding off Alan Fink, but not by much, as Fink had a good run on the inside of the racetrack on that first lap after they went back to green.
And Fink, like Caswell, also runs here on a weekly basis, and he actually runs in a whole bunch of classes, no matter what they're running. Alan Fink will find his way into a ride. And you can see this interesting battle here. Halliday's car looks a little straighter through the corner, Sopaz a lot looser, and that ends up determining, I think, who gets the spot here.
Yeah, Potts would get really sideways off the corner, and as they drive off, Potts would actually fall back a little bit and almost fall back to 6th. On the final lap, though, Dale Caswell experimenting all over the racetrack. He'd go back up to the top. He'd hold off Alan Fink for the win.
Does so in his uncle's tribute car. So Dale Caswell gets the win. There's a look at the top 6 finishers. All of them advance to the Go Nuclear feature.
The car was fast up there. I don't think the track's going to be there, at the end of the night. So we worked our way in the middle, and then we worked our way in the bottom just to see, for the 50 laps, our first feature. So we're trying to, think ahead.
Third big qualifying heat, and another Fulton Speedway regular, Sean Beardsley, on the outside in the 46. He takes the lead early.
Yeah, the Fulton regulars have had the tone for the majority of tonight so far, but the battle in between had the 57 of Charlie Sandercock trying to move his way forward. He's not a Fulton regular. He's never won here, but he's won 17 times this season. That's the white and blue 57. On the outside of the racetrack, trying to carve his way through the pack, Aaron Backus, a part-timer, but when he does run, he's around here at Fulton. Slipped up the racetrack a little bit. He battled with Rick Miller, and look at this 3-wide battle for 4th.
Sandercock tried to find somewhere to go there, but the rooms were all full. And here's Jason Aquino having some trouble early on. Now a look at why he ended up in that last chance consolation race.
Now, they'd stay green, but watch the next time they come around. Backus would get a little bit sideways in that 95 car that looks like Lightning McQueen's late model. Down on the inside would go the 57 of Sandercock, and through the smoke they go as he drove through the dusty infield and come out with the 4th position. Greg Bellier looked good. He was in a transfer spot in that red 25. We'll get back to him in a moment. Here's the final lap for the top 3.
Yeah, you can see up top, there he is, Sean Beardsley. Rick Miller, another Fulton regular, right back behind him. And Charlie Sandercock, it just doesn't matter what track he's in. He's always fast, and he's always running in the front, but they would not catch Beardsley here. Beardsley would get the win over Miller and Sandercock as we watch this battle for 4th. And oh, look out right there. That might have cost him a spot as Laszlo Holyfield, another part-timer, ends up getting the last transfer spot.
Yeah, it was working pretty good, but it was a little tight, so I had to try to throw it in there, get in the slick a little bit so I could get it to turn real good.
And here is Sean Beardsley, who, like the rest of the field, is quickly lining up for the feature event as Mother Nature is starting to let her presence be known. Before they head out on the track, though, let's go down to Paul Small, who has caught up with the drivers that will lead the field to the green.
On the outside of the front row for tonight's 50-lap Go Nuclear late model race is Brian Knowles. Brian, only about your 4th time here. What do you expect tonight?
Well, the last 2 times we've been here, she gets dry and slick, but the big blocks ain't here to hammer down that track. So, I don't know, I'm going with a little different tire than I normally run, and everybody else went to the tire I normally run. So, I'm kind of nervous here a little bit, I'll be honest.
Well, there's one cool customer who's starting on the pole tonight. That's because he's one of only 3 drivers in the field who has won a feature event here at Fulton Speedway this year, and that's Alan Fink. Now, you remember Alan destroyed a car at Can-Am Motorsports Park earlier this season on the Go Nuclear Late Model Series, but he's got this one together. You're starting from the best seat in the house, man. Can you keep it here?
We're going to try, we were pretty good at Mohawk and just wore some tires out, and we were decent in the heat race, made a couple adjustments, and hopefully we can hold these guys off for 50 laps and pick up our first Go Nuclear win.
All right, the time for talking's over. Time to get this one in the books. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, just a row behind those two will be Jason Knowles, who looked good in his heat and could claim his first series win tonight. In order to do so, though, he will have to get by his brother first. The field is rolling onto the track for the 50-lap feature and goes green right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Atomic Power Racing Hour here today at the Fulton Speedway. It is Outlaw Weekend. It is the season finale and the last chance for the late models to salute the crowd here at Fulton. 4 wide they will go. Doug Elkins up in the booth with Rich Fleck. Paul Small is wandering around the racetrack. We'll check in with him in just a moment. Rich, it's been a long way to get here. Qualifying heats in B Main. Now we're ready for 50 laps of feature action.
And this is a race a lot of drivers have looked forward to. 24 starters made the field out of the 33 cars, and this race in the past has not even had a full field because it wasn't a Go Nuclear event. They put the series sanctioning on it tonight, and look at the difference with this great field of cars.
Let's take a look at how they'll start. Alan Fink, a regular, he will start on the pole position.
And we talked about some of these other guys that are Fulton regulars. Sean Beardsley, Rick Miller. They're going to be taking on the outsiders like a Dustin Waters and Charlie Sandercock. Even a guy like Dale Caswell in the 88. Last year won the track championship, won this event last year, but has only run at Fulton 2 times before tonight. So even he doesn't have that experience of the high banks in 2014, but it's old hat for him.
And you can see some of the drivers here at the back that came from the B Main to make it into the 50-lapper. Let's look at some of our in-car. The Insinger Performance Camera has Charlie Sandercock.
And also Sean Beardsley starting up in position number 4, and so too the machine of Jason Knowles.
And looking right at his brother out in front of him as we are ready to get the green. Slow pace by Alan Fink as we get ready for one of the first features here on Outlaw Weekend, and the green flag is out.
And Jason Knowles going to try to stick right in between his brother and Alan Fink as the field rumbles through turn number 2. Laszlo Holyfield hard into the wall in turn number 1. hard contact, and the yellow flag's going to fly.
Boy, you can see those tire marks heading up in there. Carries a big speed into the wall. Again, parts-time racer Laszlo Holyfield. He's in with the A.J. Kingsley crew. That's the second car that they field for him, and the safety crew right there. We can see him moving around in the car, though. He is okay, but I don't know what happened here. Sometimes things can happen on the start, and I guess we'll get a chance to see it right here.
And you see Holyfield indicated there as they go into the corner. He just backs it up into the wall, and I don't know if he was trying to make a move or something broke. A driver with 3 starts this season at Fulton. One of them ended up in a top 5, and it was kind of a surprise to see him in the feature field. He made it in before A.J. Kingsley, the normal driver, did.
Wow, so while we get some cleanup done, let's check in with our Paul Small, who has a tech minute for us.
A lot of the drivers in the pits tonight for the Go Nuclear Late Model Series are talking about getting weight on the right front of their car so it will track better on a slick racing surface. Question is, how do you do that? Well, in tonight's Tech Minute, we'll tell you. It's a 2-part process. Number 1, you can make an adjustment on the left rear corner of the car by raising the shock up a little bit, and that will transfer weight to the right front. But you also have to make a very critical adjustment to this right front shock here, and it has everything to do with the rebound. Not so much the spring, but what's going on inside the shock valve and the shock body itself. When we talk about rebound, that means when the shock compresses down when the car goes into the corner, it doesn't immediately bounce back up and transfer the weight back to the left rear. It stays compressed, and that keeps the weight on the right front, keeps the right front glued to the racetrack. But if you go too far with the adjustment and get too much weight on the right front, you create a loose condition where the back end of the car will snap around.
So that, remember what we saw with Phil Potts earlier with his car coming around. So interesting, good report there by Paul. And here's this Delaware restart that we talk about that we don't get to see too much in other forms of racing, Rich.
And it happens when 1 lap or more is completed. They did score that lap, so ready to refire this with 1 lap already home. That means we'll see these type of restarts pretty much the rest of the way, and not much movement was found in that opening lap. Basically just the drivers changed the row they were in. That's a good break for Alan Fink, I think. Here comes Kevin Cook to the outside.
Yeah, we'll find out. Kevin Cook's still learning these cars, but he has won a lot of features over the years in IMCA modified competition, and it looks like he has scooted his way up to second. There's Sean Beardsley working the bottom in the 46.
Beardsley down on the inside, former World of Outlaw late model regular, traveling around the country running these style cars, but no wins for him this season, and only had 1 last year right here at Fulton. He drifts up the racetrack a little bit, and look at Rick Miller working to the inside. Rapid Rick in the 33X last year had a terrific 2013 campaign, but no wins for the former champion here at Fulton in the street stocks.
And Jason Knowles just lost 2 spots there as we watch somebody sneak by the outside and the inside. That's the 88 of Caswell who snuck by the inside of him there. And Caswell, we've watched him race for a long time. He is a traditional bottom feeder. He likes the inside.
Like a carp feeding off the inside. Started 9th, he's up to 5th in the 5 short laps we have run this event. Brian Knowles stuck on the outside right now. I don't think the outside's really a slow lane, but he is struggling. We heard him earlier say he wasn't sure about his tire compound. Pair of atomic chassis battle for position number 3 into turn number 3.
And you talked about the outside. There is Sean Beardsley up there. Boy, he made it work that time out of turn 4. And here comes Caswell once again on the bottom, racing with Rick Miller.
You know, and Paul's report means so much right now of what Caswell is able to do. The car's not snapping around, but he goes in so hard on that right front and is able to lock the car down on the right front without the back end scooting around, and that's why the 88 is moving forward.
They switched their shock package this year. They've been learning that, so hopefully he's getting hot here at the right time of the season as he tries to catch Charlie Sandercock for the series championship. That is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right there in turn 3.
And Kevin Cook still doing a great job on that spot.
Yes,
Beardsley fighting for everything on the outside of the racetrack, and here comes Caswell down on the bottom. 3 cars battling for the 2nd spot.
Where is Kevin Cook going to go? They're all over him. He just saw the Caswell 88 to his inside. Beardsley still trying to work the top side. And again, we talked about this racetrack. You heard some of the guys talk about it. The groove's going to move around just because the bottom's fast now. Might not be in 10 laps from now.
And Caswell's going to fall to the inside a little bit more than Beardsley. Beardsley goes up the racetrack even higher, and here goes the defending series champion and track champion in the 88, Caswell down on the inside, but Cook will block the lane. Beardsley's back to the top.
Oh, look at him squeeze in between that car and the Ute tire down on the inside. I think he's got second place, but don't tell that to Sean Beardsley. He wants it as he's got something going on the outside.
Well, the bottom's been good, the top's been good, but Cook just found out right there the middle isn't that great. Beardsley throws it in. He nearly loses it up the racetrack, and he'll fall back to fifth as Rick Miller's able to get by the 46.
Boy, there was just some busy hands on that steering wheel. He had that thing in a sheer right there. Luckily, he kept it off the wall and can still see the guys in front. So now the third place battle changes as Rick Miller gets in the mix with the 33.
You know, I'm not sure how well they can see the guys up front because Alan Fink is gone right now. He's in lap traffic.
Forgot about him.
He is running away looking for his first career Tour win with the Go Nuclear late models.
Of course, a caution could eliminate that lead just like that, so he's still got to be paying attention to what's going on the racetrack. And I got to say it, I am impressed with Kevin Cook in this car. Not only is he new to the division, new to the car, doesn't run a lot of laps here. Yeah, sure, he just got passed for a spot right there, but he's doing a heck of a job out there today.
He is. He ran, like you mentioned earlier in the show, at the Brewerton Speedway Weekly in an IMCA modified, very different race car. He did have one win there. How about series point leader Charlie Sandercock on board with him right now, still hanging back in 8th place. Doug, he started in 5th, so the 57's going backwards. We have not seen that at any track in 2014.
No, I didn't catch if he was on the outside earlier or not. He just got around Jason Knowles right here, so maybe he's found something, but maybe the top's going away because look, right there's Sean Beardsley not able to make up the ground he lost up top.
And you see how much more Sandercock can throw it into the corner, but when they drive off, Knowles has got his tires pointed in the right direction, and the 4 is able to get back by. Good battle now shaping up for 4th, and here comes Johnny Hill. Johnny Hill, Doug, started back in 13th, and the Fulton regular is now battling for 4th, 5th, and he runs in 6th.
And he had a lot of damage after that crash he had at Can-Am earlier this year. Wasn't sure if he was going to make it back for a little bit. Now he's going 3 wide for 3rd down here in turn 1.
Not a huge surprise for the former modified campaigner in that 160 point. Look at him work the inside like it's pavement. 12 starts at Fulton this year, 9 of them resulted in a top 5 finish.
And as a kid, he traveled the country doing motocross. That was his deal, one of the best motorcycle racers you'll ever see. So there's Beardsley in the 160 of Johnny Hill right there as they continue to race inside the top 3.
Yeah, he purchased this car off the Brandon Kidd operation from last season. They duke it out for 4th. And again, Beardsley's going to keep trying it on the outside, although he's got to go to the bottom right now because Turner, the lap car, is up, and so is Bellier, and Hill is able to get by up 9 spots in 16 laps.
That veteran move right there by Hill. He knew that the slower car was up high. He waited on the throttle a little bit and just drove right by him. I'm impressed right now with what Johnny Hill's doing out there.
You know, in this race, we got a yellow flag out. Jason Aquino has come around in the 33.
So the caution is out here. Some good racing here at the Fulton Speedway. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Atomic Power Racing Hour. Welcome back to the hustle on the high banks here at the Fulton Speedway. We are 18 laps into the 50-lap Go Nuclear late model race. We just had a caution. We're back to racing action here. Rich Fleck up here in the booth with me. Well, we were seeing some pretty good racing there before that yellow came out.
All sorts of grooves being utilized. Charlie Sandercock running right now in 8th, started back in 5th. Kind of a surprise to see him going backwards at any racetrack. And a quick start here for Fink, starting back in turn number 3. Did not expect that, but Caswell did, and he's all over him, battling for the race lead.
Yeah, thought for a second there he might have pulled something on him, but Dale Caswell was ready for that. You got Fulton Speedway regulars running in positions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right now.
Caswell in that 88, this would be a huge win for him. Not running weekly at the Fulton Speedway this year, but did win this race last season. He's going down to the bottom of Alan Fink, and Fink's going to slam the door shut, at least for right now.
And of course, remember that 88, that is his uncle. That's a tribute car to his uncle, Steve Holsizer. Steve Holsizer won a lot of races at this very speedway, at the Fulton Speedway, so he'd love to get that thing to victory lane. But Alan Fink, I think he's got other ideas.
And Fink able to pull away, at least for the moment. Back into 4th. Here goes the 46 of Sean Beardsley. He's looking for 3rd on the other atomic chassis car on the Speedway, and that's Rick Miller.
Boy, we've seen that move before. He's able to pull up with him right about there at the end of the straightaways, but when he tries to make the move, just can't do it. Making a move on the bottom now is Dale Caswell. We've got a new race leader.
And out in front is the 2-time series champion, Caswell able to get that groove on the bottom, and he'll start moving away a little bit from Alan Fink. We spoke about it earlier. Caswell not running weekly, so his chances at wins this season were lessened. He has no Tour wins up until the last one at the Brighton Speedway. Got a big win there. That one paid a ton of money to win. He said it was the biggest win of his career, but only one win for the defending champion this season, and right now he's out in front. We spoke earlier how Miller has no Tour wins this season. He's still battling for third with Beardsley, but it looks like Beardsley's got things figured out on the top.
Yeah, all it takes is maybe lift it a little bit coming out, a little adjustment in the way that you go in. But Beardsley, an experienced racer like we mentioned about, has figured it out now, and he's up to third.
And still a lot of race left to go. Now the drivers are coming around this time, and the next time they come by, it will be halfway. They'll see the cross flags the next time around, which will be critical. A.J. Kingsley, meanwhile, is up to 6th. Remember, we saw him win the Consi.
Yeah.
That means he started 19th. He's up 13 spots in the first half of the race.
Kingsley is doing well. Here you can see him battling with the 14 of Waters, trying to make his way up possibly into the top 5 as we are just past halfway here at Fulton.
Really seems like everybody's working so well on the bottom, except the 46 of Beardsley, who keeps going up to the top of the speedway. Kevin Cook now back a few spots, but doing what he can, hanging on in position number 8, and back to 11th is Charlie Sandercock.
Yeah, really, he and Dustin Waters, we're talking about Beardsley, they're really the only guys who are on the top side. I did see Johnny Hill kind of go up there this time, and I'm kind of interested to see what Jason Knowles is going to do here. Here he is on the bottom, and of course he's another one of those guys who tends to like the inside part of the racetrack, as he's going to find a way around Kevin Cook.
Yeah, and up in the spot number 8, so the laps continue to click off. And it looks like a few drivers are now starting to settle in to their rightful positions. The starting positions don't matter as much anymore. You see Rick Miller trying to hold off Johnny Hill for spot number 4 and still go after some cars like the lap machine of Brian Knowles.
Yeah, and that's a surprise right there to see Brian Knowles getting lapped here just past the halfway point of this event. Brother Jason doing a little bit better, but Brian, a tough night here tonight at the Fulton Speedway. And there you can see Waters trying the outside in the 14.
And speaking of Waters, we're starting to see some moisture from Mother
I wondered
Nature.
if that was happening.
And some of the drivers may be getting a little loss of traction, at least in the very slick parts of the racetrack. So as the rain starts to come down, you might need to change your groove. And that also means that this race is official since we're past halfway in contact for the leader. The 88 of Caswell just got into the back end of the 77, driven by Kelly Weiss.
And I don't know if this was a factor or not, but just within the last few seconds here, the rain has started to pick up even more. It's now that we're not expecting this. It was in the forecast, to be honest with you.
Yep.
I kind of thought we would get it a lot more before now. And the Fulton Speedway crew, they've done a great job getting this thing in. Boy, and he goes right back down to the inside, but you have to wonder if it's getting a little tricky out there right now.
And you wonder what these drivers are thinking right now. The visibility's going down as the 77 finally is cleared by Caswell. He goes after Aaron Backus and the 81 of Brett Belden, keeping it pinned on the bottom. There is some good dirt down there, but here comes Alan Fink trying to get the lead back.
Yeah, and he just come. He's the red car at the back, not the one on the outside, but the one on the bottom. As you see Backus and his car wash up just a little bit, and boy, you could catch the rain in that shot right there. It is starting to come down now.
And the other thing is these lap cars know that the caution could come out at any second. They want to stay on the lead lap. Caswell, though, has a clear lane down to the bottom. Contact! McDonald and Belden into the wall, and Kelly Weiss is going to get involved as well.
Oh, and look at all the fluid that came out from the number 97 right there. So in addition to the fluid that's fallen, we just dropped some more fluid down the racetrack as well.
And I don't know, Doug, it's really starting to come up, down now, but the lap cars all involved in this. Kelly Weiss in the 77. You see the fender damage right underneath her tire, and tough break for Brett Belden, rookie campaigner, who was trying to hang on the lead lap. And an issue as we take a look at the replays.
Well, of course, we've seen some tight action in this group before. You see Caswell down on the inside. There's the contact, and around they go. And it's broken radiator for sure in the 97.
And our speed shot
coming right at us. Wow.
Look at that.
Expensive parts and pieces coming off the car.
Looks like the 97 was doing its normal drive up the racetrack. Well, Belden kind of had his spot. And
look at Alan Fink. Just got through there.
And really, Weiss, I'm sure it was pretty slippery out there, but some other drivers in front of her were able to get by, and even after that point, Jason Knowles and AJ Kingsley got together.
Yeah, so they were involved, and it is raining right now. It was okay when we had the cars on the racetrack and everything was all right. And you can see it is getting hard to see out there.
And it looks like they're going to throw the red flag, Doug, and send them back pit side.
Oh, we almost got it. But again, we're not done yet. The management said they're going to wait here and see what can happen. So we'll sort this all out and see what happens. We'll be back to the Fulton Speedway.
Electricity. You flip a switch, the lights go on. But will we have safe supplies of electricity to meet our fast-growing needs? Today, nuclear energy provides 1/5 of America's electricity. Tomorrow, it could supply even more. And nuclear power plants don't emit greenhouse gases, so they preserve our environment. We need to reduce our dependence on foreign energy. And we also need clean air. With nuclear energy, we can do both. Nuclear, putting clean air energy to work.
Planning a trip to Victory Lane? Let Atomic Chassis get you there. Atomic Chassis are built with a high attention to detail using superior parts from trusted manufacturers such as PPM, Winters, Bernheisel, Bilstein, All-Star Performance, Vulcan, and many more. With superior craftsmanship and materials, you know Atomic will last. And since each customer becomes a part of our family, you aren't treated like just another number. So visit AtomicChassis.com today to plan your next trip to Victory Lane.
If you're enjoying these late models on the Atomic Power Racing Hour, you need to be there in person. The Go Nuclear Late Model Challenge Series is coming to a track near you with all the dirt-flinging, side-by-side racing, and bumper-to-bumper action that you can handle. Come see the cars and stars of the Atomic Power Racing Hour as they battle for bragging rights. It's not too early to start settling your race plans for next year as the 2015 season gets underway with a 2-day event at Mohawk International Raceway, April 25th and 26th. Don't miss it.
Want to win an onboard camera? How about a brand new tablet? Just visit the Go Nuclear Late Model Series Facebook page and find out how. While you're there, check out the upcoming schedule, the new line of merchandise, and much more. Just visit facebook.com/Go Nuclear Late Model Series.
Mother Nature has arrived and left here at the Fulton Speedway, and now it is up to the track crew to get the 3/8 mile clay oval work back in as we still have 18 laps left to go in the feature. As work continues, let's go down to the pits as our Paul Small is standing by with one anxious driver.
With race leader Dale Caswell sitting here outside turn number 4 under the red flag, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I guess it's a good thing, but I really wanted to finish it under green. You know, the car's really hooked up on the bottom. You know, I usually like the bottom, and the bottom's really fast tonight.
So Dale Caswell may be hoping that this one comes to a premature end.
Well, Caswell's crew is clearly using whatever they can find to keep the engine on the 88 covered from the elements. Caswell got the lead after moving by Alan Fink, who is now scored in second and is currently alongside Paul Small in the pits.
He started up on the pole. He led a bunch of laps until he was passed after a restart by Dale Caswell. Alan Fink, things may change now with this little bit of rain. Does that help you or hurt you?
Hopefully it's going to help me get a little bite. We slipped up in the slick in turn 3 and 4, and Dale was able to get underneath us, and maybe with a little bit of moisture with a few laps left, might be able to give him a run, and I'm going to give everything it's got, try to get one. So,
with 18 laps left to go, this could turn into a whole new ball game.
The call has gone out for any teams with wide tires and even some that don't to help finish running the track in, which will undoubtedly speed up the drying process. Let's go back over the pits, though, as Paul is now standing by with the driver currently in third.
While the drivers up in front of Sean Beardsley have been bottom huggers for most of this race, Sean, you've been getting work done on the top. Is it still going to be there after the rain?
Right before the break, when the rain started, I switched to the bottom just so I didn't miss the lane because I knew it was getting slick up there. You know, it could still be good up there. I'm going to have to get up there because these two are running on the bottom and I can't follow them around and pass them. So I got to keep trying up there until I, eventually get by them.
So look for Sean Beardsley to go high, wide, and handsome when this race goes back under green.
If you care about quality, service, or pride of ownership, it's time to call Tenachi AV. Tenachi AV provides music and theater systems for the home that defy expectations and are a clear cut above those found in the mass market stores, including handcrafted opera loudspeakers, Unison research amplification from Italy, Integra home theater, and many more. Discover the difference at tenachiav.com or visit us on Facebook.
Planning a trip to Victory Lane? Let Atomic Chassis get you there. Atomic Chassis are built with a high attention to detail using superior parts from trusted manufacturers such as BPM, Winters, Bernheisel, Bilstein, All-Star Performance, Vulcan, and many more. With superior craftsmanship and materials, you know Atomic will last. And since each customer becomes a part of our family, you aren't treated like just another number. So visit AtomicChassis.com today to plan your next trip to Victory Lane.
If you're enjoying these late models on the Atomic Power Racing Hour, you need to be there in person. The Go Nuclear Late Model Challenge Series is coming to a track near you with all the dirt-flinging, side-by-side racing, and bumper-to-bumper action that you can handle. Come see the cars and stars of the Atomic Power Racing Hour as they battle for bragging rights. It's not too early to start settling your race plans for next year as the 2015 season gets underway with a two-day event at Mohawk International Raceway, April 25th and 26th. Don't miss it.
Electricity. You flip a switch, the lights go on. But will we have safe supplies of electricity to meet our fast-growing needs? Today, nuclear energy provides 1/5 of America's electricity. Tomorrow, it could supply even more. And nuclear power plants don't emit greenhouse gases, so they preserve our environment. We need to reduce our dependence on foreign energy. And we also need clean air. With nuclear energy, we can do both. Nuclear, putting clean air energy to work.
Back here at Fulton Speedway, and the track has been run in after the rain delay. Most of the drivers say they're not really sure what the track is going to be like. They expect it to have a lot more bite than it did before because it's not slick anymore with the moisture worked into it. So guys, these final 18 laps are going to be pretty interesting to watch.
Boy, they sure are going to be interesting. The restart's just a little bit of ways here. We're riding with Charlie Sandercock. No gloves this time for him, Rich.
I'm wondering if they got wet or something and decided to go barehanded. I wouldn't do that with the fire, but he does. And, again, we get ready to go, and the drivers were not able to make adjustments on their cars, and that'll be a major issue. And you heard some of the drivers really confident in their cars coming back in. And the ones that I think of are the guys that were running the top before the bottom started to prevail.
Let's take a look at what we've done so far. Dale Caswell is our leader. Like we said, we've got 18 laps left to go. Most of the field, actually 3/4 of the field, still here. 18 out of 24 cars still on the racetrack. And a great job by the crew here to get this racetrack back. Looks beautiful out there right now.
It does, and you know what? We're going to see better conditions, really, for racing than we did earlier. I don't think the Speedway is going to be locked down. At some places it might be like that, but at Fulton, it's tough to be a single groove, fast racetrack here.
Yeah, unlike asphalt racing where everything's reset and it does become one groove sometimes with this. I mean, you really did hit the reset button here. Is the bottom still going to be fast? That's what Dale Caswell's wondering. That's where he likes to be. Alan Fink, he's going to restart on the outside. He's been kind of in both grooves up till this point in the race.
I think back to the heat races in the B mains when we saw guys effective on the top of the racetrack, but they knew it wouldn't be there later. But it is again now, and actually, if you go way to the bottom where some of these guys were running, it's kind of soupy or muddy down there. That part hasn't been running totally yet. As Caswell's ready to bring them back to life, we're back racing.
And you can see the shine down on the inside near the tires there. So how low can you go? We'll find out. We've got 18 laps to go. Caswell with that Delaware restart. He'll keep the lead. Getting a little crunchy down there in turn one.
Yeah, guys kind of sliding in there. Miller and Hill and Knowles all came together. A.J. Kingsley trying to move his way forward, back into position number 6. And again, these guys going to have to feel out what the car is doing differently than it did before the rains came.
Yeah, and that's why we saw what happened down in turn 1 the first time. You just don't know how hard to go in. The guy behind you doesn't know how hard you're going in. Let's look for the battle for 6th that battle for 4th, excuse me. We've seen these guys going at it before.
Absolutely. Now Johnny Hill's 160 not as effective. He gets caught in that mud. That little soupy stuff down on the inside. You know, some of you not familiar with dirt racing might think that it's all mud, but in actuality, that middle is a pretty well packed in groove. That bottom off of turn number 4, not a spot to be right now.
And that is a groove where if you would have been in that earlier, you would have found a lot of bite. You can see the difference in the color of the clay right above where the 4-car of Knowles was running. It's soupy down below, tacky just above it.
And still some of these guys trying to make it work on the top, like A.J. Kingsley. Not a place that he normally runs around, but he's been a hard charger all night long, and he's looking on the outside of the 160 through 3 and 4.
We'll see what he can do there. Again, he had to come from the B main to get up to race with these guys, so clearly in one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. But of course, the further you get to the front, the more difficult the passes are, and Kingsley's finding that out right now.
Absolutely, and he's trying to find his open areas, but here comes Rick Miller falling back to this group. So 4 cars make it 5 with Charlie Sandercock all stuck together, 4th through 9th.
Yeah, they're all battling for third place right there. And you just caught the leader out of the corner as Caswell is pulling away once again. That was tight over there in turn 2.
Boy, Jason Knowles in the 4th, 57 of Charlie Sandercock. They have been duking it out since the drop of the green flag. It doesn't matter what the track conditions are. And Sandercock just got his left front stuck up in that mud off of 4.
And 6 laps into this run right here, you figure the track's getting better right about now, so the guys are starting to figure out where their car wants to be. Where's our race leader? There he is, Dale Caswell, getting into some slower cars right now. No, this is a battle for the lead. That's Beardsley behind him.
And Beardsley has caught the leader. Down to the inside goes the 46. He sounded to be the most confident.
He did.
When the rain came out, because he knew that his car still had that fast, loose condition that the other drivers didn't have running the bottom.
Yeah, what's he going to do, though? Now they're coming into traffic. Sometimes being second place, that's where you want to be in this situation. Sometimes not. And I wonder how well Beardsley is able to see right now.
Yeah, a little mud thrown up. They do have the tear-offs. We don't have it on our onboard. But the lap traffic is going to be a factor now because the middle groove is still okay. And a lot of times when a car's not working well, they run the middle. A little bit of contact between the top 2. Caswell drives up the racetrack. Here comes Beardsley down to the inside.
And they're racing into turn number 3. 9 laps to go this time. You can see the difference between these cars and some others. You can't just get behind somebody and bumper tap them. You're going to rip your front end, hurt your aerodynamics, and then you're going nowhere. So Beardsley being cautious while following Caswell and looking for an opportunity. They're going to hit some slower cars here in about another lap.
Cautious is a good word, Doug, because I think he knows he has a better car and that he will hit the lap traffic. So he's kind of biding his time. The next car they're going to lap, Adam Turner. Top runner with the series, comes into the night in the top 10 in points.
And if you didn't know who'd been leading the most, you just have to look at the front end of those cars. And no clay on the front of Caswell's.
Right.
Lots of clay on Beardsley tells you he's been chasing pretty much most of the day.
Exactly. So Caswell's probably not pulling any tear-offs off his visor, but I'm sure Beardsley is doing that. We'll go back to the battle for third because A.J. Kingsley is now taking it from the Alan Fink and Rick Miller automobiles.
Yeah, and if anything, Kingsley after this race is going to go, gee, what would have happened if we would have qualified in the heat race? As we watch the battle for 6, now we zip up. We got action at the front again.
Here on the outside, Aaron Back is slowed up. The 88 of Dale Caswell, and Sean Beardsley has put himself out in front as he goes after his second career Tour win.
That's what we talked about. Sometimes being that second guy to hit lap traffic is the place to be. So Beardsley out front. Can he hold on now with 4 laps to go?
Beardsley won a Tour race in 2012, the Mohawk Speedway. It was a day race that was on a lockdown, rubber down speedway. This is the complete opposite right now, but what a story it would be. Kind of a lower dollar operation, and he has the lead with 3 to go.
You can see Caswell taking all the way out to the wall there, trying to get a little bit better run down here into turn number 1. He's got his foot down on a 2. They're side by side, headed into turn number 3.
Maybe Caswell was saving the ace to play, and he's showing it right now. Flexing the muscle down on the inside, parallel sticks in the air. 2 more laps to go.
A little over a mile left. It's Sean Beardsley's race right now, but now he's the guy who's catching that traffic at the back. Brett Belden just in front. Let's see what happens as they hit turn number 3.
And Belden's going to have to move down to the inside, but he actually moves into Beardsley line. Contact between the leaders. White flag is out. Final time around.
Boy, Beardsley looks good right now. Oh, he gets together with Belden, and that's going to cost him the lead. No yellow just yet. There it is. Caution out. Oh, a heartbreaker for Sean Beardsley.
They look like they're attached. They're connected. Beardsley tried to drive out of that. He was less than a lap away from the big win here on Outlaw Weekend. Makes contact with Belden and now is stuck in turn number 2.
You see the contact there, and usually these cars, since they're not open wheel, they don't do that. So that's a unique situation there, and you can see each of them trying to pull away from the other, but it wasn't going to work.
Yeah, they were trying to drive off each other, and I don't know how Caswell actually missed that. We see it a little bit slower down, and I don't know really what happened if Beardsley just slid a little bit, but look at Caswell barely get out of it.
And again, the field is a double file formation. Let's listen to what the top 2 think about that.
I'm not a fan. I like the standard double file restart stuff, so I don't know. Maybe if I'm ever on the other end of it, on the lead part, so maybe that'll be better for me.
It's not my favorite thing, but it kind of, if they say it's good for the leader, but if you're out there by yourself and you restart, you leave the bottom open and then you leave the top open. So, it's a little bit of surprise if someone gets a good run on the inside or the outside. But it's if it's all year round, it's good.
No, so neither of the top 2 necessarily like where they are right now, although I think Caswell's probably a little happier than A.J. Kingsley is.
It's interesting. You're right, because when we talked to AJ about that earlier, he went on about how if you're a guy in sixth, you like being in sixth because you get to move up next to the guy you're racing with.
True.
But if you're in second, you have to fall back to the guy that was racing you. So he felt it was a little. Oh, and he goes a little bit early here, as we saw some restarts in turn number 3. Now he falls back, and Caswell gets him back to life. 1 lap to go.
Only 1 lap, 3/8 of a mile left here at the Fulton Speedway. Caswell out in front, and there goes Fink to the inside. Here comes Kingsley back charging for second.
Yeah, I bet Kingsley really doesn't like it now. Fink's going to make one last ditch effort. Doesn't look like it's going to be enough, and Dale Caswell for the second straight year will win the hustle at the high banks.
Fink in second, Kingsley third. Great run for him. Point leader Charlie Sandercock in fourth. Rick Miller rounds out the top 5. So, hey, we beat Mother Nature. We get this show in, and there's going to be a very happy man down in victory lane. Dale Caswell with his biggest win of the season. We'll talk to him after he wins the hustle at the high banks. Welcome back to Fulton, where Dale Caswell was good, then lucky, and then good again to claim an emotional win in the 50-lap Go Nuclear Late Model Series feature. Let's go down to victory lane as our Paul Small has caught up with the man of the hour.
Dale Caswell winds up in victory lane. You had it, you lost it, then you get it back.
Yeah, track was, we weren't set up for this track. Once the rain came in, it made it a little heavy, but, I guess I'd rather be lucky. We see him dive in the outside, and we started driving harder and harder, and, we made one mistake, and that's all it takes.
And sometimes the traffic bites you, and sometimes it bites back.
You aren't kidding.
So it must feel good to have the second win of the season.
Yes, it's awesome. Thank you.
Congratulations to Dale Caswell. Let's find out how he did it. Early on, though, it was Alan Fink showing everybody the fast way around.
Yeah, and Laszlo Holyfield, what a issue going into turn number 1 on the opening circuit. But then the race would really take some big green flag segments, and we saw Kevin Cook with a great run. He'd get up to second, but Dale Caswell was not to be denied on the bottom, at least early on when the track was still pretty slick.
Yeah, nice move there as you saw him squeeze between Kevin Cook and those utility tires is what they call those down on the inside. But Sean Beardsley, the 46, we'd see a lot more of him today.
Yeah, and he'd throw it in real hard in the 3 and nearly lost it all as he fell back to 5th after getting very loose in the corner, but he would make up for it. We'd see that later on.
Here's the lead change down on the bottom. Looked kind of like the pass we saw before.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a matter of Caswell getting that restart on lap number 19 and waiting for Fink to make just a little bit of a bobble.
Here we are. This is right before the rain started to really fall. This is the crash that set us to red.
Yeah, a bunch of lap cars got involved. Belden, McDonald, Kelly Weiss. And then, as you mentioned, that the rains would become too much. The restart would come out, and look at Beardsley go back forward with the track coming back into his liking. He would get around in lap traffic, but then it would be the lap traffic that would do him in.
Yeah, and here it is. They'd already taken the white flag at this point, and look what happens.
Beardsley gets hooked up with Brett Belding, couldn't get detached. Caswell would get back out in front, survive a restart, and would hold off Alan Fink to pick up the win.
Paul is down with Alan right now.
Well, you're probably wondering why I'm standing next to this mod light. That's because the second place finisher on our Go Nuclear Late Model 50 lapper has another race to run in this mod light car. Alan Fink, you led a bunch of laps at the head of the race, and then it looked like you took advantage of misfortune on that last restart to grab second again.
Yeah, we were just, we had the car set up for a tight track, and, we slipped up a little bit, let Dale get by us, and, the track was a little greasy there. We pushed up, but we were fortunate on that last restart to get a couple spots back and finish second.
That's Alan Fink, your second place finisher. Proof, if there need be any, the race car drivers sometimes just can't get enough.
Let's take a look at the final finish order. Dale Caswell with the win. Alan Fink, A.J. Kingsley, Fulton regulars in positions 1 through 3.
But it's the guy in fourth that was really surprising. Charlie Sandercock, what a major step towards his first career Go Nuclear Late Model Championship. Was back from about 8th to 11th the whole night, somehow found his way to 4th in the final lap.
Rick Miller ends up in 5th. Jason Knowles a good run. Johnny Hill faded a little bit there towards the end. And how about Kevin Cook?
Yes, a top 10 in his first start. And a guy we didn't talk about the whole race, Harry Halliday, very quietly finishes in 10th with Sean Beardsley, able to restart just behind him and come home in 11th, but obviously not what he was looking for.
Yeah, he wanted a spot that had a 1 in it, but he didn't want another 1 in front of it. Here's a look at some of the cars that finished a little bit towards the back, and Laszlo Holyfield, who had that crash on the very first lap.
Yeah, and guys like Greg Bellier, Adam Turner, this was just not their night.
A.J. Kingsley passed a lot of cars coming from the B. He is down now with Paul Small.
Well, he's already in the hauler and relaxing, and that's because he passed more cars than any other on the racetrack tonight. A.J. Kingsley winding up 3rd after starting 19th. That's a heck of a run.
Yeah, car was great. Right before that yellow, I saw Sean and Dale battling, and I was catching them. So then when that yellow came out, it was unfortunate for Sean, but I was grinning from ear to ear. But I had a minor brain fade. I had assumed that and forgot that we weren't restarting out of 3 here. And I pulled up next to Dale, and once I let Dale back by in the middle of 3 and 4, he decided to jump the start. So good job by Dale, and good job for Alan. I mean, Alan and I had a good race the last lap, but it was a good race. I mean, you can't beat starting 19th and finishing 3rd.
This is definitely a hard-working man tonight. A.J. Kingsley winds up 3rd tonight at Fulton.
And another hard-working man celebrating in victory lane. You can see Dale Caswell's win brings him to within 30 of Charlie Sandercock as they go for the championship here in 2014. There are still a couple of more point races to go, but that will do it for us this season. We'll be back in 2015. What a night it was here at Fulton.